July 22nd, 6:03. This is our weekly commission meeting. Moved to the evening because there was supposed to be a big change of command at the base this morning, which actually didn't happen. But it worked out well to schedule this meeting for 6 o'clock, and thank you all for being here. So I'm Laureen Kamalu, one of the commissioners. To my right, Commissioner Bob Stevenson. To my left, Commissioner John Crofts. We have a great agenda today. We have some special guests even in the audience. And we are going to start off with our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Eric Kokerhans. And he will stand, and we can all stand, and then he will get us started. And Eric, I'm going to move over here, so just give me enough time to do that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, 1 second while I switch my papers. Okay. First on the agenda, after our beautiful pledge, public comments. If there are any folks here who would like to speak to the commissioners for about 3 minutes, we invite you to come to this podium. Please share your name and the city you live in. Thank you.
Hello, Jennifer Garner from Layton. So I was trying to decide whether to talk about my property taxes or about the 5,000 plus uncounted ballots from the mail-in voting. I did email the clerk a couple of days ago, and I know I haven't given you enough time to respond to that. But so I was really excited to vote on the last day, and there was a huge line, which was even better, but I didn't have time to stick around. So I put my ballot in a ballot box at the Davis Conference Center, and as I put it in, the cover that covers my signature ripped off, and I'm like, well, I can't do anything with this. I mean, my ballot was in, and I wondered how it would happen, and so the ballot was caught, but I didn't receive notification until two business days before the end of counting ballots that I needed to come in and sign an affidavit. And I think that that's how 5,000 plus voters didn't get their ballots counted. And I just didn't know if you guys saw that report that was published and if you have done anything about that, because I know there's a big argument over people being disenfranchised if we went back to in-person voting, but people are being disenfranchised by mail-in balloting. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Oh, you just switched seats. Okay. Anyone else from the public who would like to address the Board of Commissioners? All right. With that, we'll go on to our recognition, presentation, and informational items section. And the first one I can take care of. Number one is a notice of receipt of intent from Centerville City to submit Recreation, Arts, and Parks, or RAP tax opinion question to residents of Centerville City. And I will go ahead and move approval. Oh, it's just informational, sorry. Okay, so then the second item is significant, and we talked a couple weeks ago about how the County Republican Party would have a special election for candidates who put their names in, who filed, would have the opportunity to have delegates vote, and that happened. And so it was a week ago, yeah. Crofts and I had to get back with flights that canceled that day, and we still got back. So it seems like it was longer ago. But we are thankful for 4 good candidates who put their names in to run with the party and the delegates. And there was a good turnout. I believe it was about 51% of delegates were there in person that night. So great attendance, honestly, especially for a time of year and all of that. And two candidates particularly pretty close, we were told, and one of those is the winner. So I think we can do the swearing in, but then I would invite our new controller, after you're sworn in, to say a few words, even if it's just telling us a little bit about yourself. I see the Davis Journal is here, and there's a lot of folks here, and we're just very excited to get to know you. So I'll share the name now. It's not on the agenda, but I know the name. So Scott Park is our new controller to be officially sworn in today in this next item, and then we'll hear a few words from you, Scott, okay?
And I do believe there's a process we have to go through on this, which the commission itself has. You want to explain this?
Yes, Commissioners, you would need to appoint Scott to this position. He's been nominated by the political party, and it's now to you to appoint him officially into this role, and then I'd be happy to administer that oath.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the appointment of Scott Park as the new controller here in Davis County.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now you can come forward.
Great. And if it's okay, we will also come forward and just, I think I sign. Do I also sign? Oh, I don't sign, okay. We'll still come forward and support you on the side.
I, Scott Ted Park,
I, Scott Ted Park,
having been appointed Davis County Controller,
having been appointed Davis County Controller,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and that I will discharge the duties
and that I will discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity.
Congratulations.
And never mind, we didn't get forward, so we're just photobombing in the back of all of your pictures. Please, Scott, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I've been a Davis County resident for over 20 years. My wife and I moved here shortly after we were married. We thought it would be a starter home, but we loved Clinton so much that we decided to stay there. We built a house just a little bit away from where we originally moved, and it's a great place. We've loved raising our kids here. We love being an active member of the community. I had no idea that I'd be doing this probably 2 weeks ago. Curtis is a good friend. I worked up in Weber County doing a similar role. And when I found out that he was resigning, I thought, well, I'd regret not trying it. I really enjoy what I do. I really want to serve where I live. And so I put my hat in the ring, and I was grateful and fortunate enough to be chosen to fulfill this rest of the term. So I'm just really excited to get here and to get to work and get going. I know budget season's approaching, and I'm ready to jump in. So I appreciate it.
So Scott, I just have a comment and a question.
Sure.
First of all, I know you're tickled pink to think that you're not going to have to deal with Jim Harvey anymore, and I do not blame you on that at all. And second
This
of
is a
all,
recorded
please,
meeting.
please tell me that you did not go to Utah State.
I went to Utah State for my undergraduate. I am an Aggie. I did get a master's degree from University of Utah, but I tell everybody I'm an Aggie at heart. So
There's plenty of Aggies in the room.
And Commissioner Harvey, for the record, is a great guy. The commissioners of Weber County are awesome. They do a lot to serve the community. They speak highly of you all. All the interactions I've had with them in relation to you guys have been positive, so I'm super excited to get to work with you as well.
Well, I sat next to the Weber County Treasurer the night of that special election, and I saw the mix of emotions. To be so excited for your opportunity and so sad to lose you in Weber County. We do have our clerk auditor from Weber County, who's a friend to all of us, Ricky Hatch here. And so I know that that's a common feeling for Weber, and we wish you the very, very best as you continue. We are kind of like sister counties in many ways, do a lot together, know one another, and care for the communities of both counties. So, but here we are, needed to be done, and you will finish this term, which will go through the end of 2026. That position is up for election next year, and so you'll be busy in very many ways. I know.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Well,
Scott, and I am proud to announce that I am your liaison for the Board of Commissions. So I look forward to getting to know you better as well. So Let's meet tomorrow.
Awesome.
And I think your first official day, though, won't be till next
It
Monday?
will be on Monday, so I'm gonna finish it. It's a short turnaround, so it's just a week ago. It feels like forever ago, but a week ago that I got the appointment, and so I turned in my notice. I'll be starting here full-time on Monday.
Okay.
So maybe we'll meet on
I
Monday.
don't think that you needed to give Weber County that courtesy. That's a joke, Ricky.
Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told them. I would never leave Weber County high and dry, and I would never leave Davis County high and dry. So that's just the way that we do it. So,
Welcome.
thank you.
Thank you. Congrats to your family. It's always a family effort too, huh? These efforts to get elected take a whole family. All right, well, that was a big deal. Next up is the approval of meeting minutes. So before us, and we've had a chance to read over them and approve them. We're grateful to the clerk staff that does such great minutes for us. I move approval of the regular commission meeting minutes for July 1st, 2025, as well as the approval of the regular commission meeting minutes for July 8th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll move on to business and action items. And we have number 5 with the clerk's office, and let me just see, yeah, just that item, but it's a big one. So thank you, Brian McKenzie.
Commissioners, for your consideration, today we have our ordinance related to the implementation of our data privacy program. Prior to you taking action, I thought it might be helpful to provide a little bit of background of kind of where we started with this and how we got to here. As you know, back in February of 2024, the legislature passed the Utah's Government Data Privacy Act. It is in many ways kind of a pioneering effort from Utah to get some things in place for government entities, and so it's exciting to see the state moving forward in this. Back in April of 2024, two of our commissioners, sorry, John, you weren't quite on board with us yet there, but 2 of our commissioners will recall during a work session, I brought this new piece of legislation up for kind of an FYI, provided in that work session a little bit of background on it, of what would be required of us, and provided an initial draft of this ordinance way back then that was really mirrored after our current grandma code in our county code. During that meeting, the commission organized an ad hoc committee. I was asked to serve on that committee along with Mark Langston, our IT director, and Neil Geddes, our chief civil attorney, and Chris Bone, our HR director, and then Randy Elliott served as the commission liaison. And we had been given the task to work together and then come back to the commission with some recommendations on how to move forward. Following this direction, the committee met and began making plans to begin the setup of the county privacy program. Mark was assigned to look at breach documents, Chris at training for our employees, Neil legal documents, and myself with the program and policy documents. Updates were provided regularly through Randy to the other commissioners rather than reconvening the commission. Shortly after the formation of the committee, Mark Langston announced his retirement and started moving in that direction, and my staff focused our attention on preparing for the June primary, November general elections. So the committee during this period of time continued to work on our own individual assignments, although because of those complications, it made it difficult for us to get back together as a committee. But based upon the discussion in the work session and the committee's work on preparing the program, it was determined that a full-time position was needed for the county to help get this program really up and running. Because the committee had not made a recommendation as to who would ultimately be assigned the responsibility of GDPA, Chris Bone, our HR director, had announced that he would put this position in the HR's budget as a placeholder until that had been determined. Later on during our budget meetings in preparation for 2025, a decision had been made to initially place this position in our IS department. During a commission work session on December 6, 2024, the assignment of this position and responsibility of GDPA was further discussed, as well as how GDPA would relate with grandma. IS Director Hassett, at that time, our new IT director, stated there was no immediate need for the position to reside under his office. And after more discussion, it was decided by the commission that the position would function better under the county clerk, as the clerk was previously assigned duties under grandma. Since this decision and the subsequent approval of the 2025 budget with this position in my office, I, along with my staff and others, have been coordinating efforts to set up our privacy program. We've hired a data privacy administrator. We're very excited to have that expertise on hand. We've implemented new hire training and annual training for all of our county employees, which is a great accomplishment to get us in compliance with the statute. We've also extended that to cover our volunteers. We began creating tools for our offices to identify their various processes when they're collecting personal data. And of course, we've worked on drafting and finalizing our proposed ordinance. The ordinance before you now was created collaboratively with our county attorney's office, information systems and human resources, as well as our controller's office to ensure great input from these experts. To ensure transparency, the draft ordinance was provided to each of you via email on June 10th, 2025, and then discussed during a work session on June 17th, with the plan to approve on July 1. As you recall, it was subsequently tabled during that meeting. Believing I was moving forward under the direction of the commission and having not received any concerns related to this ordinance, this action was surprising on my part. Following the July 1 commission meeting, I reached out to each administrative officer as suggested by Commissioner Stevenson and confirmed they had no concerns with this ordinance. On July 14th, this ordinance came before you again. A few days prior to that meeting, Commissioner Crofts had shared a concern he had. So during that meeting, I recommended the ordinance be held until your next meeting, which we are to hear today, so that we could work through and address his concern. During that meeting, it was also shared that an additional full legal review had been requested for this ordinance. This review focused on 4 primary areas. The first was whether the clerk's designation as Chief Administrative Officer for privacy violates Utah law. The short answer is no. In support of this conclusion, the attorneys explained GDPA provides that the CAO, Chief Administrative Officer, means the same as the term defined in the Grandma section of code. It also provides that the government entity shall designate a Chief Administrative Officer to carry out those duties. Davis County has already, through ordinance, designated the county clerk as the Chief Administrative Officer in that context. And so the designation of the clerk as the CAO for GDPA constitutes additional duties delegated from the commission with their authority in accordance with law. The second area was stated as whether the ordinance improperly delegates Board of Commission authority to the clerk. The short answer again from our attorneys was no. GDPA does not specify or place restrictions on who the commission may designate as the CAO. The Utah Office of Data Privacy created a privacy program framework that serves as a help. While it's primarily set for state agencies, it does outline their view on the CAO. The framework, as well as relevant statutes, provide that the CAO for privacy purposes will also be the CAO of Grandma and other records-related matters. The third area was how to preserve the Board of Commissioners' legislative and administrative authority while complying with state privacy mandates. Adjustments have been made to the ordinance since our previous meetings. They include adding a member of the commission to the advisory committee, stating the clear and apparent authority of the commission to change the designation of the CAO, conspicuously stating that the CAO must adhere to the requirements and limitations of the act and the ordinance, provides a method to resolve any disagreements between the CAO and an administrative officer, and then expressly authorizes the commission to require an audit if the CAO fails to initiate an audit. Aside from these additions to the ordinance, we'd already built in a few other things. It requires the CAO to provide an annual report to the legislative body. It requires an annual audit of the privacy program administered by the CAO, which is reported to the legislative body. And it also requires the reporting of any additional audits to be delivered to the legislative body. The last of the 4, was whether the ordinance exposes the county to legal risk under Title 17 or HB 491. The majority of the text in this ordinance is merely repeating or enacting what is already required by GDPA. Portions of the ordinance that are not strictly required by GDPA, such as the audit component, represent policy and administrative determinations that the commission may choose to adjust or remove as they deem appropriate, but they do not create any specific legal risks. To summarize, I have, to the best of my ability, followed the direction of the commission in setting up and preparing the county to be successful in our obligations to GDPA. I've utilized the best resources in the state to prepare this ordinance to get our program up and running, utilizing guides provided by the State Privacy Office and training resources provided from the Utah Association of Counties. I've coordinated this in a collaborative manner with all offices of the county, including the commission. Our attorneys have also spent significant time reviewing it to ensure it is properly drafted to be compliant with the law. I've done all I can do up to this point. I'm hopeful at this point that we'll be able to pass this ordinance and we can get things moving a little bit faster for our county. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this is business in action and the only item for clerks. Any questions?
If there's no questions, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-5, which is referring to the data privacy program for Davis County. I did sit in the meeting yesterday for an hour as they gave us instruction. I believe both John and you were you listening on that also? And we're there. So anyway, this is something that we are expected to do through the state legislature. It was interesting sitting in the meeting as they started giving a little bit of the background and the history on this, is that, realistically, they explained that the state of Utah has always let out on this, that actually the Mormon pioneers, when they came here, this was part of the stuff that they were trying to do. So it was a very interesting meeting on the background and all that on it. And they did also explain that there's still a whole lot of work and a lot of things that are going to have to take place in learning curve as far as it goes. The things that they said that are required by the December 31st of 2025, I think we're moving probably ahead of every other county on getting to that point right now. So Ricky, nothing against you guys, but anyway, but I do make that a motion that we approve that and appreciate all your work on that.
With that, I do intend to second the motion. I would like to say first that I had some initial disagreements, and I did want to make sure that there were some changes, and we were able to do a review of that and make those changes. And it also remains under the authority of the Board of Commissions, which I was insistent about. So with that, I will make a second, and thank you for that very detailed explanation, Brian.
Very good. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you for all the work.
Now we have a lot of work to get going.
I know, all the
thank
work
you.
behind, all the work ahead.
Ricky, I'm
Thank
kind
you.
of curious, how are you guys coming over there? Ricky Hatch is the clerk auditor for Weber County. So how are you guys coming over there with
I think
this?
you'll have to come to the podium now, Ricky. Come on
So
up.
while Ricky's coming up,
Yeah, and-
I would
and
like to state one more
again-
thing about this.
We're talking 30 seconds.
So before you talk, just real quick, this does fall outside of the statutory authority of the clerk, and that was one of my big concerns. But we have gone through an exhaustive review of it, and I'm satisfied with that. So
Thank
anyway,
you.
thanks. Go ahead, Ricky.
I didn't want to come up here because I dressed in black because I'm in mourning for losing my county
Scott.
comptroller, but very happy for Davis County and auditors. I did not dress like this all day, just so you know. For our county, we have designated a CAO. That individual is also the chief records officer for our grandma purposes, and they also reside in the clerk auditor's office. We have not yet done an ordinance. She's done training and we're currently working with legal and others to draft ordinance and begin that process. And I just downloaded the ordinance from you guys, so we will copy significant chunks of that
Good.
and apply them to Weber County. So
Yeah.
we're just a little bit behind you.
Doing great. Thank you.
This is also your opportunity to give any comments to Scott Park, but he left, so I guess it wouldn't
No,
be
he's
worth it.
here. His family, though.
Oh, his
scooted in.
family, okay.
When I learned that he won the election, I literally clenched my fist and shouted for joy and immediately sorrow. And it was so confusing because I felt both at the same time.
Yeah.
I think it'll be difficult to find a more dedicated, loyal employee who cares honestly about the taxpayer dollar and that it is collected, spent, and safeguarded with the best interest of the citizens in mind and full transparency. You have a winner, and he will do he will do absolute miracles for your taxpayers and for the county.
Thank you.
Boy, Ricky, if I were looking for a job recommendation, I'd want you to be on that. Thanks.
Yeah, well, I'm not lying. He's very good. So,
And you are as well, Ricky. Thank you for your service.
thanks. He did submit his letter of resignation today, and for the record, I denied that. So, we'll see how that goes.
You're funny.
Appreciate you coming up.
Yes, thank you, and for being here. Thank you so much. All right, well, that was big, and we'll keep going. So the next item, number 6, is also from the Commissioner's Office. This is, and this one is one we vote on because it's our own. Oh, no, it's not. It's still not our own. This is just for the vote. Approval of a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Davis County providing notice to Centerville City of the county's intent not to impose a local sales tax to fund recreation, arts, and parks, RAP. And I move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Okay, next up is facilities, and our Director, Lane Rose. You have 7 and 8. Thank you.
Thank you, Commission. Item number 7 for your approval is an agreement with Gary Hunt Architect, PC Domestic Business Corporation. This is for design services for our new admission training and administration building next to the Health Department. This is payable in the amount of $66,000, beginning 7/22/2025 and ending 7/22 of 2027.
Very good. That's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good to get going on that one. Item number 8 for your approval. This is amendment to our contract 2024-0755 with Studio Myers. This is our architect for the animal care facility. This is solidifying all the engineers for the project. This is a guaranteed maximum design price. Again, for the architect. This is payable in the amount of $1,431,345.25, beginning 7/2022/2025, ending 7/22 of 2026.
And I just have a quick question on that number 8 from the Controller's Office. The budget would need to be amended in 2026.
Yes, we plan on amending the budget for next year.
Okay.
I'd make a motion that we
Chair,
approve.
excuse me. Can
Sure.
we separate those out from 7 and 8 and vote
Sure.
on those separately?
I'll make a motion that we approve item number 7.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion we approve number 8.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye. Nay.
Nay. Okay. Very good. Noted. Thank you. Next up, the Health Department, and we do have our Director, Brian Hatch. Looks like you have the big list today. Yeah, through 16. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. The first one is an approval agreement with Utah Legal Services to provide legal education and services to our senior service, in our senior service buildings. They provide that service to residents. This is payable in the amount of $7,674, beginning 7/1 of 2025, running through 6/30 of 2026. Number 10 is approval of a Veterans Care Agreement with the Department of Veterans Affairs. This basically allows us to provide services to veterans in our community and bill through the VA for services rendered to the veterans. This is a receivable depending on the service that the individual qualifies and receives. This begins 6/1 of 2025, running through 5/31 of 2028.
That's exciting, too.
Number 11, an approval of agreement with Exercise Innovations to provide program services. This is our bingo size program. This is payable in the amount of $1,300, beginning 7/22 of 2025, running through 7/31 of 2027.
And Brian, on that one, the note from, was it attorneys? Can't remember which group. I'd have to find it again. But anyway, a note from one of the groups that it does not show the purchasing cost in the licensing agreement. It might have been from attorneys. Just heads up on that one, or?
Okay, it's $1,300. It's just a renewal of that the use of that. It's a
Oh, okay.
evidence-based program that we utilize.
So I guess maybe they were just thinking might be great to make sure it's actually in the licensing agreement, but we can
Okay, we can
follow up on that.
we can follow up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 12 is an approval of amendment with our contract with the Utah Department, the Department of Health and Human Services for HIV prevention. This is receivable in the amount of $34,400, beginning 6/1 of 2025, running through 5/31 of 2026. Number 13 is an amendment to a contract with the Utah Department of Health and Human Services for the Davis County Summer Food Service Program in the amount, receivable in the amount of $230, beginning 7/1 of 2025, running through 6/30 of 2026. Number 14 is an amendment with a contract with the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, increasing our funding in the local Women, Infant, and Children Program, the WIC program. This is receivable in the amount of $77,585, beginning 7/15 of 2025, running through 9/30 of 2025. Number 15 is an amendment with a contract with the Utah Department of Health and Human Services for community and clinical intervention, receivable in the amount of $69,326.72, beginning 6/30 of 2025, running through 6/29 of 2026. That one, just for detail, is for diabetes, stroke, and cardiovascular programs.
Nice.
And the final one is number 16, and it's an approval of an amendment to the contract of the Utah Department of Health and Human Services for tobacco prevention. This is receivable in the amount of $589,638, beginning 7/1 of 2025, running through 6/30 of 2026.
Very good, Brian. Any questions?
I have no questions, and with that, I move to approve items 9 through 16.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, we have Chief Deputy Butcher coming up to take care of presenting items from the Sheriff's Office. And we have Sheriff Sparks in the room. Thank you.
We do, but he makes me do all the complicated stuff. So, item number 17, Commission, for your consideration, is approval of an interlocal cooperative agreement for the North Davis Metro SWAT Team between Layton City, Clearfield City, Clinton City, North Salt Lake City, Sunset City, Syracuse City, and Davis County. This is a payable, and it is based off an assessment fee breakdown, much like what is used for Metro Narcotics Team. And it has a beginning date of July 1st of 2025, and an ending date is indefinite, period not to exceed 50 years. And there are bylaws that have been drafted up for this group.
And I think maybe the other note I have is for this item, that it maybe didn't have the risk, didn't pass whoever signs off on the risk part of it.
When I saw it, it was 100%.
Ah,
Sorry, I did give an update. You may not have received that, but yes, they've all been passed.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Item number 18 for your consideration is approval of a memorandum of agreement, or MOA, between Salt Lake County, Tooele County, Salt Lake City, and the Davis County Sheriff's Office for the Community-Oriented Policing Services, or COPS grant. This is going to be actually a payable, a little bit of explanation. This is, Davis County was the procurer of this grant, and it involved the 3 different counties and Salt Lake City through Salt Lake County. And this is a portion that we are paying in their behalf on the grant that we received. So for Salt Lake County, it is an amount of $659,000. Tooele County is $165,000, and Salt Lake City is $224,000. Item number 19 for your approval is for National Crime Information Center HIT confirmation, or NCIC HIT confirmation agreement between Davis County Sheriff's Office and the Department of Natural Resources, Division of Law Enforcement. This has no financial attachment to it, and it begins on July 1st of 2025 and runs through indefinite period that may be terminated at any time by either party based off of a 30-day written notice. Item number 20 for your consideration is approval of a memorandum of understanding, or MOU, between the Utah Attorney General's Office and the Davis County Sheriff's Office. This MOU will enable the Davis County Sheriff's Office to serve as an affiliate to the Utah Attorney General's Office, allowing for the vigorous and proper investigation of internet crimes against children, or ICAC. There is no financial attachment to that one, and that begins upon final signature and goes until canceled by either party. And then item number 21 for your consideration is approval of a memorandum of understanding, or MOU, between the 75th Security Forces Squadron and the Davis County Sheriff's Office. This MOU is an agreement for mutual support in force protection and police incident response. Again, there is no financial attachment to that. Begins upon final signature and runs for 3 years from the date of the final signature. Item number 22 is one I'm especially excited about. It's approval of an agreement between Davis County and the State of Utah Department of Health and Human Services Office of Substance Use and Mental Health, Utah State Hospital, or DHHS, for the Competency Restoration Unit to be located at the Davis County Jail, or DCJ. This is a receivable in the amount of $4,016 per day guaranteed. And additional, if it goes above the 16 guaranteed beds, it's $138 per bed per day that they would be paying. That's a total of $1,465,840 annual revenue they'll bring in. Additionally, though, more important than any of this financial aspect is it moves us forward in being able to bring something to the jail where competency restoration will be actually provided by the state hospital when we have individuals in our custody that are found incompetent to stand trial and deemed to need to have competency restored, rather than having to wait for a bed space at the Utah State Hospital. It's a matter of putting them on the move list for that night, and they get moved to that restoration competent unit within our jail. So very exciting stuff for us.
That really is.
Yeah, and this starts, beginning date is July 15th of 2025, and the ending date is 5 years from the date of signature by both parties. This contract may be terminated early by either party by mailing 90-day written notice to either party for certification by certified mail.
And I'll just add on that one that this is one of many areas where Davis County is respected and turned to be able to do something important.
I'll make a motion that we approve items 17 through 22 as presented to us.
I have a question on number 22. Are we going to be required to hire additional staff in order to fulfill our commitments on number 22?
That was
22,
that was
so
last
there is a potential, yes, that we'd be requesting additional staff to, it's very minor, but yes, there is that potential, and we'd be addressing that in next year's 2026 budget.
Yeah, when I was looking at this, I didn't see an analysis of how many people would be required or what additional staff would be. I kind of would have liked to have seen a better analysis of that. I mean, it sounds like a lot of money until you look at all the other costs that go along with it, and that's what I had a question about.
Sure, totally understand. And if the sheriff, he might correct me on this, but my understanding is that this is what part of why we're waiting to ask for additional staff is it's different. They were at the Salt Lake County Jail, and now they're moving up to the Davis County Jail. How things are run at the Salt Lake County Jail is extremely different. There are direct supervision, which means that there's officers that are placed inside each housing unit. We do kind of an indirect where we have one officer that roams between a couple of different housing units. So what we wanted to do is see how this played out and what were going to be the demands on the staff. We're anticipating that it might be 1 to 2 additional deputies to make sure that we're fulfilling that, which, that's only a couple $100,000 with full benefits and everything as opposed to what the income would be.
I'll second that motion with the condition that you come back to us and report to us later on.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
And I'll just add that there are a lot of fixed costs involved in running a jail. And so when there is capacity, when what we're already spending and have already invested to be able to provide a service that brings in more revenue, I've just noticed in my time that, the fixed responsibility is already great.
Right.
And the investment is already great. So great question, though. It'll
Yeah,
be
I
very
just-
interesting to see.
With permission, I just want to make sure that, one or two staff don't balloon into 10 additional staff, so
Sure. Great question.
that was my concern.
Not for that program.
Very good. All right, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much, Butch. Now, when I mentioned the Health Department has a lot on the agenda, it's in consent. So anyway, a lot of the consent today is Health Department. And so we've had a chance to be able to look at all of that.
I'd make a motion that we approve the consent items 23 through 27.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. I move that we recess to Board of Equalization.
Second.
We'll give that to Crofts. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. And Sulika Laulu in Tax Administration will present this.
Good evening, Commissioners. I have before your approval, the Davis County Board of Equalization Property Tax Register. There's 11 total items with corrections of $20,878.05. And then there was, in the assessor's adjustments, there were 7 various ones, resulting in $2,663, or, sorry, $2,663,410.
Thank you, Sulika. Any questions?
Now, I'll make a motion that we approve the property tax registers presented to us.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion we go back into our regular commission
Second.
meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, good meeting. Closing remarks. Anything else from clerk's office?
Items,
Oh, no, closing remarks. Did I miss something? Isn't that the last?
oh, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Commissioner, just for Jen Gardner, who shared some comments, I did check my emails. I do not have that email, and so if she's available to visit after this meeting, happy to chat and answer any questions I can.
That sounds great. Okay, any other closing comment? Commissioner Stevenson, Commissioner Crofts?
Yes, I have a few, if that's okay. So we returned from the National Association of Counties Conference, which was held in Philadelphia. Last Tuesday, we returned and we had our flight that was canceled, so we made a lot of preparations and tried to, I think that you took a different airline and I had to take a flight detour to Atlanta and get here in time to vote. So anyway, Scott, it mattered to us, your election. We cared about that. There were a couple things that came out at NACO that concerned me. Right now, there's a lot of cuts right now. The country's going through a hard time. I think that it's not just Davis County and our families and people that are hurting, but throughout the country right now, and we have a lot of cuts. The federal government's making a lot of cuts. And part of the message and part of the take-home that I took from NACO was a lot of these financial responsibilities that have been from that the federal government has been responsible for in the past are now going to be passed down to the states and the counties and the communities. So that was something that I think is good to see on the horizon. And I wanted to talk about something. I wanted to read my statement, if that's okay. I just wanted to remind everybody of something fundamental. We sit in these elected positions. I sit in seat C. Commissioner Kamalu sits in seat B. Commissioner Stevenson sits in seat A. But none of these seats belong to us. They belong to the voters of Davis County. These are not personal titles. They are temporary stewardships entrusted to us by the sacred trust of the Davis County voters. I've heard people refer to elected positions as if they're permanently tied to individuals who hold them. These seats are not ours. We serve at the pleasure of the voters for a limited time, and that's it. My predecessor, Commissioner Randy Elliott, believed in term limits. He honored his commitment and chose not to seek a third term. That showed integrity. I now serve in his seat, not because it's mine, but because the people chose me. All elected officials must remember these positions are temporary jobs, not personal property. We are in a time of real financial strain. Families are struggling. Seniors are deciding between paying bills and buying groceries. These are real people, our neighbors who deserve better stewardship from government. Earlier this summer, we conducted a countywide stress test to identify where we could cut costs. But I must ask, did we all take it seriously? Because just days after the stress test, a request was made to create another confidential secretary position, a hire I believe is unnecessary. Other departments have clearly stated they don't need similar positions. Expanding government during a financial crunch sends the wrong message. It didn't stop there. A request was also made for a personal exception to our travel policy to allow an overnight stay. A short drive, in my view. The request was inappropriate, and it was a mistake for the commission to approve it, over my objection. We have close to 1,200 employees who follow policy without asking for special treatment. Elected officials should be held to the same standard, if not a higher one. Special exceptions for those in power undermines fairness and trust. And yes, I've heard through the grapevine that some of the county government have mocked me for raising concerns and trying to rein in unnecessary spending. But let's be clear, they don't answer to the taxpayer. We, the commissioners, do. Commissioners are elected by the people, and I will not stay silent when I believe voters' trust is being thrown off the boat. Let's also address the animal shelter. A recent article claims that we saved $2 million. That's false. We're spending $16.5 million instead of $18.5 million. And the only reason for the cost reduction is because we drained Fund 10, a more flexible fund. That's not savings, that's short-term thinking. I voted against that move, and I stand by it. I also have concerns about the building of the animal shelter near the Wasatch Fault, which poses a serious risk in the event of an earthquake. Last year, I opposed the new animal welfare tax, which puts the county in direct competition with private veterinarians. That tax, which cost my household $16.99 last year, is now going up 53.09% to $24.31 a year. I also received inaccurate information from our former animal care director about the spay-neuter cost information that was used to justify the tax increase last year. That individual has since resigned, but now we have a new tax that doesn't go away. We must focus on core services, law enforcement, prosecution of criminals, public safety. That's where our taxpayer dollars belong, not in duplicative or unnecessary government expansion. And now I want to address another misunderstanding. I've heard directly from delegates and members of the public that the commissioners don't work hard. Let me be absolutely clear. We work harder than most people realize. I've taken calls at 5 a.m. in the morning. I've been on the phone late into the night addressing issues that impact real people. And we're out of the office frequently, not because we aren't working, but because we're engaged with our communities, visiting departments and solving problems. You might not see us at our desk, but that doesn't mean that we're not putting in the time. We are. This is one of the most challenging and rewarding forms of public service. Did you know that there are dozens of county employees that are compensated at a higher level than Davis County Commissioners? In order to attract the best possible candidates and staff, we have to pay higher. We do that while not giving ourselves raises. Comparable to Class 2 counties like Utah and Weber counties, they pay their commissioners much more, many thousands more than what we get as Davis County Commissioners. We commissioners don't always agree on taxes, on vision, or the direction of the county, but please don't say that all of us are in this for ourselves. I do this because I care about Davis County and I want Davis County to stay great. Last week, my daughter was married, and even on that special day, I was answering phone calls and dealing with county issues because public service demands commitment, and I take that commitment seriously. To anyone considering public office, enter with humility, a servant's heart, and a willingness to work hard, even when it's inconvenient. When we ignore our own policies, build too much, spend too much, and create expectations for some, but not all, and mock those that speak out, we erode public trust. So let me say this clearly. I'm listening to the public. I'm standing up for fiscal responsibility. I'm fighting to protect taxpayers, and I will continue to do so even when I'm outvoted. That includes my indignant comments I just wanted to realize, I just want everybody to realize that putting voters first is harder than I thought. Thank you.
Thank you. And the only comment that I have is that for a couple months, I would give a quote from our founder and our first president of the United States, George Washington. People knew I was trying to finish that biography before I had the opportunity to be in Philadelphia for my first time. And I finished that book on the flight home. But I'm forever changed. I already revered him and all of our founders, and I'm so grateful to live in this nation. It is an honor and a privilege to live here. And the more we know and understand about the sacrifices that have been made, I think the more we engage and the more we value what we have, it's a very special place. And with that, we will adjourn. Thank you for being here. It's 6:53.